Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, fans of Skytear. Welcome to another broadcast. I am the commander reporting in for duty, and today we are going to take another look at another game of No Hero Left Behind, the tournament where you must use all 28 heroes during the sequence of the league. Today's match, we feature Eric in blue at the bottom of our screen and Red Scare in the green at the top of our screen. So, as we can see, the heroes that are going to be required here for Red Scare, we need to have Akuti, Habarat, Kenwi, and Astrida brought to the field. On Eric's side, we're going to have Shadris, Habarat, Miyuki, and Kumaya. Our victory conditions for the day are going to be Onslaught, kill 3 heroes, everyone's personal favorite, Hunting for Power, defeat the enemy outsider and win. However, of course, if you declare an attack action against the outsider, you get to draw a free card. And then finally, Tactician, win the lead of a control token 6 times. So we'll go ahead and see how this works out. So before the game started, we did have a coin toss. Red Scare won the coin toss and actually opted to bring his outsider. Eric had the Scourge of Puido as an outsider. Red Scare decided he wanted to bring his outsider, the Silent Ambassador, so we'll see the appearance of that one come down the line. And then Eric opted to go second as he was given choice of player turn order. So we see the draft coming fast and furiously as the heroes are positioned on the board. Of course, there is no question about who's going to be drafted, only where they're going to be positioned. So let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit here, maybe tilt this down just a bit so we can see the HP trackers. There we go. Regarding the deck construction, so for Eric, Kumaya is supplying Redirect, Twister of Souls, and Wind Blasts. Shadris, Redirect, Refract, and Soul Scream. Habarat, Redirect, Dragon Punch, and Unstoppable. Miyuki, Dismiss, Time Warp, and Nightmares Incarnate, which means Eric is going to be going for a control game because there's a whole lot of 3 cards, and none of them have a +2 modifier except for his ultimates. So, pretty clear what he wants to do with that. Although, I guess if we get to round 3, there is plenty of direct damage cards with those Wind Blasts and Soul Screams. But knowing Eric, I suspect it's going to be a control game from him. Anywho, on the other side, Red Scare, from Astrida, we have Nourishes, a Time Warp, and some Presence. Akuti, Time Warp, Redirect, Sudden Distraction. Habarat brings Time Warp, Nightmares Incarnate, and Soul Scream. And Kenwi brings Whisper of Nukton. Of course she does. Shove and Chasms. So, looks like probably a control game from both players. And we see, from the get-go, Kenwi diving into the dome. Going to lead from the hand. Makes perfect sense, and pop her illusion down just so that she can't be attacked. Now, of course, again, as I mentioned, very unlikely that Eric is going to go for an attack action to begin with. So, you know, just bringing that illusion down for some safety. Noting Eric's team, of course, Kumaya and Habarat are pretty good damage dealers, and sending either one of those after Kenwi could have resulted in some significant amounts of pain if she did not protect herself. Unfortunately, there are no green heroes for either of these players, which means we are not going to see any Triumph of the Wilds come down, which is a tragedy, because that was pretty cool to watch Yakumo and Kirito doing that the other night when we played a game there. If you haven't seen that game, go check it out. Both players had some really clutch plays that were really exciting to watch. Meanwhile, we're going to watch Kumaya go ahead and start doing control things. Move, skirmish, and attack. This is where we would love to see Yami, but of course Eric has already used Yami in the tournament, and so must use Kumaya. There we go. We see a -1 on the flip. Doesn't matter because you're going to kill a minion regardless of your flip. Unless you've been hit with Strike Terror, which no one has brought. Another shame. As that would be a fun card to watch. And so we see that Eric is not going to go for the dome pile. Will be interesting to see then if he concedes the dome in exchange for the 2 lanes. Silent Ambassador does allow for a lot of lane manipulation trickery, which we'll see how Red Scare takes advantage of that if he piles into the dome, with the fact that he could flex presence in turn number 1. That is a possibility. Right now, he does have control of the dome with, presumably, I assume, a 3 card hidden underneath that Kenwi there, but of course, that is pure speculation. Next, Astrida is going to go. Now, notice that Astrida has not worshipped herself, which means that she's not going to be able to pop a minion and kill a minion, unless spawn a minion, unless she does that here. With the move out into the open, interesting play. Most Astridas will end up going into the cover hexes so that they can't be targeted. Though I suppose with Shadris over on the left side as well, doesn't really matter. Shadris is not picked because you want him to punch people in the face, even though he's wielding 2 palace doors as his choice of weapon. So the minion is deleted, and apparently there was a worship declared that wasn't shown on the screen. Red, I told you to use the call-out keys, man. Come on! What are you doing to me? Anywho, so Astrida actually had worshipped herself with the shapeshift action, therefore she was allowed to spawn the minion. So as you can see, kill off one of Eric's, respawn another, and sacrifice 2 hit points. Astrida down to 14 hit points. Shadris now going to move into the area here, lead from the hand, and then probably, I assume, do a worship action. Ooh, good point here. That worshipping action, if Kumaya were to be able to move up there, would be able to block Astrida from the line of sight. Kamaya's passive, not one we get seen used often. Most people just have it as the threat of being used, the smoke screen. Whenever Kamaya has line of sight to a token, an illusion token, she is able to reduce the line of sight of anyone she's adjacent to by 1. Most people don't actually use that effect, but they do get the indirect effect of their opponents having to play around it. Would be cool to actually see how that would evolve there, but again, with Kamaya moving right there, not going to happen at least this turn. So we're now going to see Habrat activate. Habrat, one of the probably the highest damage dealers in the game with Akimo. Of course, obviously assassins do pump out 4++, but Habrat, like Akimo, has ways to juice up his attack a little bit more. Habrat going to now move into lane number 1 on our right, goes for the move action. Probably, I would assume, just summon the token, or maybe skirmish and then attack. Depends on how fast we want to go through our lead cards here. And, okay, so there's the token. So we're going to, I assume, finish this off with a lead action. Now that I think about it, Eric's not using the action buttons either. Shame. 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 Ding, ding, ding. All right, enough of that. You don't pay me to make bad sound effects that probably will get us hit with copyright infringement because I can't, do it well enough. Finishes off with a lead from the deck. Interesting. So, unlike Eric's deck, there are a fair amount of 1s and 2s in Red Scare's deck there. I see 6 1 mana and 4, 6, 7, 8 2 manas. No, I'm sorry, 11 2 manas. So that's a bit of a riskier lead from the deck than it would be for Eric. Although, oh well. All right, so Miyuki's moving into the other lane. Moving on now. Okay, Eric is using the buttons now. Very good. Awesome. Eric, I love you. Big hearts to Eric. Eric is then going to lead from the deck. Unless perhaps Eric used them last round and then they just deleted. Which could also be the case, at which case I apologize for incorrectly shaming Eric in public. Won't be the first time I've made a mistake on the broadcast. Certainly won't be the last. And so now we move on to the final activations here. We do have Akuti. So Akuti, very good as a lane pusher. She can summon the illusion token next to one of the minions, attack attack one minion, and then use the retribution ability from her illusion to attack the other minion, thus enabling her to delete both of Eric's minions. Very good use for the push there, which potentially could make it so that Red Scare is able to win a 2-to-1 advantage here in the lanes. It's questionable if he'll be able to win lane number 2 with Eric having 2 heroes there, although he does have the advantage on the minion. However, with Shadris doing a lead from the hand, I'm going to assume that that's a 3. And with Kumaya there as well. Astrida has no lead in her hand, so therefore that should guarantee that Eric wins lane number 2. Currently, the dome, lane number 3, if you will, is dominated solely by Kenwi, not being contested there. We'll see if Eric tries to tie the dome with Habrat, or if he goes to perhaps reinforce lane number 1. We do see Akuti moving over there. I assume out comes the worship action. Hey, there we go. Red Scare is also using the icons now. I love everyone. We're all big, happy friends now. And Giacomo would like to point out that I should have a virtual whip for players not using the buttons. I agree. If you gave me that power, that would be great, although I would probably use it mostly just to beat Ryan because he deserves it. I can't exactly specify why, but I'm sure I could come up with a reason for it. So we do see Akuti going for the final action there. She does the attack, followed by the retribution, knocks off one minion, knocks off the other minion, and so now has lane dominance. Even with Miyuki leading from the hand, that does give a minimum of 3, potentially 4 value. So as long as Habarat's lead from the deck is not a 1, Red Scare wins the lane. Even if it is a 1, then he ties the lane. And of course, with Tactician on the field, you may not, tying the lane, not something that you want to do. The faster you can rack up those 6 points on the Tactician scorecard, easier time you have. I sound like John Madden. The team who has the most points wins the game. Excellent. I'm glad that you've joined me for this quality high-level analysis. So, Eric is now going to challenge the dome, indeed. All right, so Habarat is going to march his way in there, going to worship, bringing out the illusion token as well. Pop that down right over there in lane number 1, and then I assume a lead action. There it is. Going to try and contest Kenway here. Now, will it be a lead from the hand or from the dome? It is indeed from the hand, so Eric making good use of the fact that almost half of his deck here is going to be 3 mana cards. And by almost half, I mean over half. He has 10 cards that are 2 mana, and the rest are all 3 mana. So Eric is going to be able to bully around in terms of lane advantage. So we do see the flip on the Habarat there. Does win by 1. It was a 2 mana there. So the control token does advance by 1. Going to respawn ourselves some minions. That does give Red Scare 1 point on Tactician. Apparently we're using the yellow tokens for him. And then I assume that we'll use either the blue or the red tokens for Eric. So we do see there that Habarat does end up leading with a 3. That's for the dome there. We do see that Shadris did have a lead point enough to give Eric the advantage by 3 in lane number 1. So massive pressure now in lane number 2. Astrida going to most likely have to sit there. But the good news is, because of where the token is, Astrida will be able to shapeshift, attack a minion, and then lead herself. Doesn't need to waste an action doing the move, which will then enable her to provide a little bit more counter pressure. So we'll see if Kenway and Shadris continue their march. That being said, we are going to move now into round number 2. Players are tied 1-1 on the Tactician. And we need to mute that server because we don't want you guys don't really care about what's coming up in the chat. So give me just a moment there. Great. Sounds good. All right, back to the game. So the first turn, overall, pretty even board state here. Slight advantage in lane number 1 for Red Scare. Strong advantage in lane number 2 for Eric. Tactician 1-1. Tie in the dome. Illusion tokens are out for pretty much everybody that can spawn them. I see, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. The only person that doesn't have an illusion token. Nope, everyone has an illusion token because that's a Miyuki, and she cannot bring out tokens. So overall, a very even game right now. Again, I do think that Eric will have a little bit more power once we get to round number 3, since all of his cards are 3 manas. I see we have some Dragon Punches. That'll be useful for doing mass wave clearing with either Miyuki or Habarat. We do have some Refracts, which could be useful to copy some power cards that Red Scare wants to bring out. We do have some redirects as well. Not that I think there's anything really that to redirect. I guess you could redirect a Nourish within this battle. I don't see that likely to happen. There are Nightmares Incarnates, so I guess you could redirect a Nightmares Incarnate that was being used on a minion to a hero. That would actually be a very interesting thing to do. Kenway is also bringing Shove. It is possible, actually, that Kenway's Shove could be redirected onto an ally, because it does say push target adjacent hero. It does not require it to be an enemy hero. So if Kenway decides to jump in there into the foray, redirect could force that Shove on somebody else. All right, but in the meantime, we do see Akuti is going to go ahead and activate. The illusion token was actually not moved ahead of time, so going to only delete a single minion as a result, and then is going to move using the Habarat illusion token. You know, Habarat, not one of the more common yellow heroes that we see, so some people do forget. And so the Way of the Rogue, as the projected ability is called, when a projected hero damages an enemy minion with the attack action, you may move them 1 hex. And so therefore, smartly tucking Akuti into that cover hex, making it so that Miyuki can't do any power cards on her. Of course, Miyuki can still mark her. Kuruma worships are within 3 hexes, and so you could apply the mark in the slow if Eric wanted to do that. I can't imagine why you would, as he isn't playing Purge and Purify or something like that, but you know, Eric plays a much better control game than I do. My control game is I beat your heroes into submission and then take control of the board because you have nothing left. All right, Eric looks like, you know, attacking minions sounds like a good plan here. Go ahead and flip. Again, when you flip against a minion, you're still going to kill it. So dead minion there, going to lead action, and we're going to worship. Interesting. Now, in this situation, it would be beneficial perhaps to worship on Habarat. You can apply the slow to Habarat, and as a melee, that would cripple his ability. There we go. We see that the mark and the slow, whenever Miyuki marks someone with the worship action, they get slowed as well. So that's going to mean that Habarat will not be able to go after Eric's other minion in lane number 1. Perhaps the Habarat will go to the dome or simply work to provide some extra pressure in lane 1. We'll wait to see. Of course, the Habarat could move forward, attack, and destroy the Habarat illusion token if he wanted to. Can't imagine really. Again, this isn't a heavy battle game here, but it could be the case, you know, that we move Habarat around on top of his token, attack the minion, and then reposition that way. So if we deleted the token, he wouldn't be able to do so. Just kind of spitballing possible ideas here while we wait for Red Scare to take his next move. I am interested to see what we do in the dome here. Again, both players potentially looking to tie up the dome. Neither of these decks are really built for flipping, but again, Eric does have a lot of direct damage cards. Silent Ambassador only has 1 armor, so you could do a fair amount of damage using the Soul Scream, the Nightmares Incarnates, and so on, for Eric if you wanted to try and gun down the Silent Ambassador after she spawns. Probably looking more of a turn 4 victory condition for that as opposed to a turn 3 due to the lack of piercing and the amount of mana investment that would require. Eric does not have control of the flux. So we'll wait and see what the battle plan is. As it does look like Kenwi is getting ready to activate. I can't imagine that I'm going to be impressed by anything she does. As if it were my personal opinion, we would just delete her from the game. Have I ever mentioned how... I'm pretty sure I already mentioned. No, I'll stop right there. The interesting thing, though, is given the... how do I want to say this? The strategies of both players, a lot of what makes me hate Kenwi actually doesn't matter here. We're not going to be focusing on attacking. It's... Therefore, you know, we're not going to need to worry about targeting her. We're not going to need to worry about the heroes moving. So, in this case, she's just kind of there. She is going to take 1 step back with a move action and play the Presence. Interesting. All right, very nice. Presence, of course, is a card that I should probably get out on the stream to show you what that does. Most of you are, of course, familiar with it, but Presence allows you to predict 2, so you can take a look at your cards, see what you want, but more importantly, the main value of Presence is that you get +1 to your control value in the area that you influence. So, by playing this, Kenwi is effectively worth 2, and then after the predict action... we also see a lead. So, given that it was from the deck, I'm going to assume that we have taken a look at the cards, seen that we want something there. So, Kenwi's value, I'm going to assume, is a minimum of 4, most likely 5. And so, Eric now has to consider, am I able to respond with a presence of my own? No, I'm not, because he doesn't have any. I've already gone over this. And so Eric has to decide, do I want to funnel a second hero in the dome and place a 3-mana card on them for a lead in order to contain Kenwi? Or do I just, you know, give up the dome, let Kenwi summon the Silent Ambassador to the field and then start ganging up on the Silent Ambassador while I push the lanes in. Both of those are very plausible options for Eric's strategy, and we'll take a look and see what he does choose to do here in just a moment. While we're waiting, I'm going to take this time just to plug our next event. We are going to start a weekly series starting tomorrow. King of the Dome is our working title for this, where essentially every week a previous winner, the king, shocking how that works, will work to defend their title. New challengers are being solicited in the SkyTerra Sunday channel. We're looking to have this every Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is GMT -5. It'll be GMT -4 in a few weeks, which will throw all of us off, of course, because, hey, Daylight Savings Time is awesome. The first king will be Ricardo, and because one of the rules that we're looking to implement is if a hero dies while you're reigning as king, you may not use it for the rest of your streak. Because Ricardo is the first king and there have been no such restrictions, we did force him to summon Vorhild as part of his team. The first challenger will be Bearcat, so whichever of Bearcat and Ricardo win, any heroes that were defeated on their side of the field will then be unavailable for the remainder of their reign. We will see how that goes down, so please do join that for tomorrow. I think it's going to be a great series, very exciting. We'll see what happens. Meanwhile, let's see what happens now in this particular game as Habbarat is going to activate and going to declare a skirmish. So we're going to have some Habbarat on Habbarat action, no damage on the flip. As I mentioned, Eric's deck not designed for flips, although attack action's pretty good. We are going to attack a minion here to continue that control value. This makes sense to me. This is a control game. This is not an aggression game based on how these players have built their decks. Now, the question is, are we about to see a redirect card come out? I do believe Red Scare has some redirects, so he may force Habbarat, blue Habbarat, to attack yellow Habbarat or an illusion token and save the minion. Is that what's happening? Show me redirect. Oh, we're popping the Flux, which means a 3-mana card's coming out. Are you doing a Chasm? Okay, Akuti is going to play Chasm. All right, very nice. We're going to yeet Habbarat right back into the dome. Chasm right here for us. Let's take a look at this. Target a hex within 2 hexes and push each hero adjacent to it 1 hex away. So, interestingly enough, now Miyuki, who is already activated, has been kicked into the dome. Interestingly enough, this will force the fizzle on Habbarat's attack, as Habbarat no longer has line of sight to the target and, of course, is no longer adjacent. But if that's a 3-mana card, Kenwi is either now going to tie the dome or lose the dome if the card that was led from the deck is a 2. Again, as I mentioned, there are a fair number of 1s and 2 manas inside of Red Scare's deck, and there are a substantial amount of 3 manas in Eric's deck. And so therefore, the lead from the deck is significantly less risky for Eric from the deck. But we'll see how that plays out at the end of the round. And so it looks like Habbarat is going to lead as well from the deck. So Eric kind of doubling down on this. Statistically speaking, it is pretty likely now that either Miyuki or Habbarat is showing a 3-mana. And so therefore we are going to look to tie Kenwi. Now, if only there was a way that we could knock her out of the dome. Well, let's think about this. Actually, Eric, if you were to... you don't have it. Never mind. I was going to think we could do some shenanigans where Kumaya would be able to mark Kenwi, and then Shadris could slam her, but that's only 1 hex. We'd need something to get the 2nd hex to get Kenwi out of the dome. Unfortunate. But sometimes the better laid plans don't always come to fruition. Now, what is interesting here is, let me double check something on Shadris real fast here. Blah, blah, blah. He may push 1... it is target adjacent. Okay, so never mind. So Shadris would not actually be able to exhaust next to Habbarat and kick him out of range of the dome, as he is not able to get within line of sight of Habbarat because there is no fast. which is actually interesting. I'm surprised that we didn't see time glitch from one of these players. The ability to move fast in a control game, I think, is beneficial. So let's see. All right, Eric, going for the skirmish. Excuse me. Red Scare is going for the skirmish. Eric just moved Habrat. We see another 0 on the flip there, so no damage there. We're going to move another unit there against Miyuki. What is about to happen here? We are going for an attack action against Habrat. All right, very nice. So this will be 4++ on the flips. And Habrat is going to take... Oh, no, that's right. There is no flips because he's marked. So Miyuki, when she is within range 3, nullifies the ability to flip and reduces the attack by 1. So Habrat just takes a flat 3 damage. All right, so some light chip damage. Interesting. Might have wanted to put that on Miyuki, although it would have only done 2 damage, it would bring her down to 14. Might have let you do some more damage with the caster, the Scion Ambassador, if you win them. And with Habrat being put into the dome, does look like we're getting a dome brawl going on here. My kind of game. I know there are some people that don't like the dome brawl, and they're mistaken, is all I have to say. All right, let's see what Eric has as a response. Eric's next hero is going to be Kumaya. So Kumaya is going to go ahead and skirmish, move up there, is going to go ahead and attack a minion. Sounds like a plan. Dead minion. And then I assume now she's going to lead from the hand or from the deck. One or the other. Yep, lead from the deck. All right, so Eric has 5 cards in his hand, which means that either he's drawn all of his 2 cards or he's got some really good cards he's saving up for next turn where he's just going to start casting stuff left and right. If we could see a Void Palace, that would be awesome. I would totally be down for sentencing someone to the Shadow Realm, as I don't think we've ever had a game where that's had a meaningful time impression. I did see one game where it was done for style points, but the game was already over at that point, so I don't really count that. Let's see what we have coming to us in round number 3. Let's see. So, next up, we're going to have an attack action from Astrida. She has shapeshifted herself, so we're going to delete 1 minion, respawn another minion, and then we're going to worship. We're going to lead. We've already worshipped. So we're going to lead, I assume, and this is going to give a reasonable amount of control to Red Scare in lane number 2. Spawn another minion. Very nice. So in this case, I think Shadris has the choice. Does he go into the dome, win the dome? Does he go down, punch the minion in the face, and help win the lane there? Although with that lead action, I think you can only tie. If we have 5 there, and then assuming that Astrida... Well, Astrida is from the deck, so that's going to be a 50-50. We'll see what happens there at the end of the round, but we do have some promising shenanigans. Okay, so Shadris is going to go in for the lane control. So we're going to move, we're going to attack, and then potentially lead from the deck as well. Dead minion. Okay, so we see the refract on the flip. Not useful for a flip per se, but the... comes down, and there is the lead action to finish that off. Very nice. All right, that's the end of the round. Now it's time to go ahead and calculate our leads. So, show me numbers. Well, I guess first we should check and see, are there any extra things? Miyuki is going to play Time Warp. So, Eric is going to concede the dome. So Akuti led from the hand. Pretty sure you still lose this, but whatever. So Miyuki is going to play a Time Warp to move back into lane 1, and then Astrida is casting Nightmares Incarnate to... Aha! Shadris is going to play Dismiss. So, let's go over these in order here. Dismiss is what it sounds like. If there's a target card or a power card on the stack with 2 cost or less, you can just nullify it. And the Nightmares Incarnate allows you to simply deal 3 damage to a target enemy. So I saw Miyuki led with a 2 there. Did not see what everybody else led with, so we'll go ahead and do some calculations here. Eric does lose lane number 1. And takes a tower point of damage as we are within range of the tower. Interesting that you put the control token there, but I would have thought you would have put it over one more, such that you can set up for a potential Nexus breach, but interesting. Respawn our minions, looks good. All right, over into lane number 2. So in this case, Kumaya and Shadris have led versus Astrida there. Astrida led with a 3, Kumaya led with a 3, and Shadris also led with a 3, which means we have a push, because that is a 5-5 tie there. And so therefore, no victory for either... Is there a minion that I'm missing? Pretty sure it's a tie there. Must be a minion that I can't see. Oh, there's the minion. Duh. There's the minion below Kumaya. That's what I'm missing. That blended right in with the background. All right, time for a new glasses prescription. I'm trying, very difficult to see what's going on here. Missed that minion right there. Of course, that was the minion that we just tried to see a Street of Nightmares incarnate. Ooh, boy. Time for some more caffeine. So Eric does win that lane there. By 1, deleted the minion, then the minions do respawn, so we have some more minions there. Now, Kenwi and Habrat will win this lane versus the lone Habrat, as Kenwi was augmented by presence. So we are going to see the Silent Ambassador pop out at this point. So the Silent Ambassador, my personal favorite among the outsiders here. As you see, she must spawn somewhere that is adjacent to the perimeter, either on the inside or the outside. And now we have the Wormhole effect, probably the best Silent Ambassador ability, because it is, first of all, range 4. Second of all, you can target the Silent Ambassador herself and then trade positions. You don't even need vision of the person that you're wormholing, which is awesome, and really, really screws up positioning. The other thing that screws up positioning here is this Stone Storm. Stone Storm allows you to place a 2x2 AoE. The damage that comes down, 1 plus the flip, is nice, like a little bit of light damage, but more importantly, you slow everyone in the AoE, which is going to be pretty critical in a control matchup. The last one, Predict 2 for Farsight, not really that great unless you're fishing for something to draw, whatever, cool. And then, of course, there is a 3+ on the attack for ranged. Very useful in an aggro match. There is no aggression going on in this game here. Really, so not likely to see that one come down. I predict most likely the attack would be used against a minion, which is why I'm going to be seeing where this outsider has been placed. I would assume that you're going to place it farther back. Yep, just like that. That way, if Eric goes to commit for it, he's not influencing the control zone in lane number 1. No. Oh, I guess, yeah, if you have to place it there. I was thinking you could do something where you could swap them out, but this works. I guess in this case, you can now attack the minion of Eric's to kind of further your lead in lane number 1, so that does make some sense there, I guess. But the problem is also, this is right next to 2 of Eric's heroes. Granted, one of them doesn't really do damage, but it does open up the possibility of hunting for power now being on the field pretty aggressively. So, outsider ability number 1, we're going to wormhole some people. So, who's getting wormholed? Miyuki and Habrat are getting wormholed. Okay, we're bringing the assassins right next to the outsider. Interesting play. Not necessarily sure if I agree with that, but hey, I also don't know what I'm talking about half the time, so whatever. So it could also be the case that, why would you want to put Miyuki in there? I guess if you want to go for dome control, maybe. Something like that. I don't know. Okay. I see now what we're going. We're going for a wall. Is that what we're doing? Wait a minute. I don't see what we're doing at all. I am so confused. Okay, well, we went for the attack on Habrat. We did the Stone Storm on Habrat. Okay, very nice. So they're going to be slowed as a result of the Stone Storm. I'm not sure why you... Not sure why you skirmished there. That AoE doesn't need to target with the Stone Storm. It's just place it within 2 hexes, but... Alright, well, interesting enough. We'll see what happens here in round number 3. So round number 3, I think, is where Eric's deck really is going to start to turn online. He has a full hand of cards, 6 cards in hand. And a lot of them are going to be 3s. So we're gonna see what happens to the outsider. Is the outsider just gonna get completely nuked? We'll just go ahead and put the outsider's HP on 18 since she is now on the field. We need to watch that. All right, well, take a look at the state of the board here. Eric has a strong advantage in lane number 2. Red Scare has a strong advantage in lane number 1 here at this point. Red Scare is winning 3-2 on Tactician here right now. So at this point, I think we can say, as of right now, Red Scare is pushing the advantage. But again, as I mentioned, Eric's deck, I think, gets a little bit better the longer the game goes. I mentioned we have some Dragon Punches coming out, although the orientation of those minions, I don't think you can get all of them with a Dragon Punch. Oh, yes, you can. Yeah, there's one orientation that you can't get them all. But we are going to see Akuti go ahead, move that illusion token with her worship action, go for the attack action, kill off minion number 1, kill off minion number 2. And so Eric now actually has to be very careful about losing his tower. With no minions to soak any damage, if Red Scare goes for a funnel of heroes into lane number 1, that tower is going to explode. And of course, with the dead tower, you do not get to spawn new minions. Therefore, making a turn 4 Nexal Breach very possible. Alright, finishing off the activation there, Akuti does lead from the deck, so we'll see how that resolves ourselves. We're going to see Miyuki activate. Alright, Miyuki's going to go for a skirmish. I assume she's going back into lane number 1. Yep, there we go. Bada bing, bada boom. We're going to go for an attack action. Or excuse me, we're going to use the skirmish damage on Habrot. Sure, why not? You get a free flip. Not likely to do anything anyways. Oh, we're just separating the markers. Okay. Now Miyuki will go ahead and attack a minion. Good call from Eric. We do need to thin out the minion team from Red Scare if we want to survive. And of course, I say we, even though Eric is the one that's playing. I feel a bond with the players, even though I'm standing up in the booth, making terrible wrong assumptions about their strategy for your entertainment. So with that attack action, there is again the possibilities of some redirects. Aha! There it is. There's the redirect that I was hoping to see before. So redirect is going to allow Red Scare to change that attack action from Miyuki to a new legal target. So will he go after an illusion token perhaps? Or will he just direct it on to Habrot? Down to 16 HP, did put it on Habrot. Interestingly enough, I thought he might put it on Habrot's illusion. Since there are no more minions, but I mean, Habrot himself isn't going to die. And now, so this is where Eric starts to get a little bit angry and decide, all right, well, we're just going to sweep all your minions away. As you can see there, Wind Blast allows you to place the AoE on a target hex, deal 2 damage to every enemy hit. By the way, minions only have 1 hit point, so kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. Also, that Akuti illusion is gone as well. So maximal benefit from the Wind Blast from Eric. Excellent play there. Very nicely done. Does neutralize the risk of his tower exploding. Of course, if we can somehow send Miyuki back into the dome, perhaps with another chasm, it could be then a case where an uncontested lane number 1 occurs for Red Scare. But as it stands right now, Eric has done a very nice job defending his his right lane from an invading force. I don't want to say invasion because that's an actual victory condition, which is not out on the field. All right, so that being the case, who's next for Red Scare? In this situation, I think I actually leave Habrot till later, just to see what Eric does with his Habrot first, if possible. Bait that out, see if we can get the Habrot to move first. I think maybe we go with Astrida. It's pretty clear to me that Astrida has to attack Worship and Worship, attack, and lead again, as Eric is slowly mounting an offensive against the left lane tower for Red Scare there. Of course, it would be Red Scare's right tower. And Even though he is currently at 5 hit points, that could snowball out of control fairly quickly if not controlled. Of course, given that this is round 3, it might be the case that Kamaya just yips them both into the Void Realm, and Astrida no longer matters, which would be awesome to watch. So we'll have to wait and see if Eric pumps out into the Void Palace. I don't believe I saw it on a flip, so pretty good chance that it's in his hand. All right, Red Scare is going to activate the Kenwee instead. So Kenwee, all right, so we're going to continue going with our strategy here of beating on the enemy heroes. I approve of this strategy, even if it may not be conducive to your deck. But Hobrot is going to take 1 point of damage there, bringing him down a little bit closer to death. Still not very close, mind you. He still has double digits HP, 10 hit points left. But, you know, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. All right, we're going to go ahead now and see. Aha! There comes the Song of the Siren on the flip. Not where you want to see it. You hate to see it as a flip. Hobrot's HP just went down 6 damage. I think it should have gone down 5. Oh, no, because Kenwee's a +3. Never mind. I see Astrida's face, and I'm thinking +2. So, yeah. So, Kenwee does 3 +3 on the flip. So, actually, in that case, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, with 6 damage onto Hobrot, not actually a bad plan. Because now blue Hobrot is dead to red Hobrot on the next activation. As there are no -1s in the deck. So, unless Eric... Yep. I do not think Eric has a way to defend against yellow Hobrot killing blue Hobrot right now. So this will be interesting to see if Eric activates his Hobrot and gets him back round 5, or if we let him go for now and yellow Hobrot kills blue Hobrot. Will be an interesting trade-off to see what happens. So these are the decisions that can make or break a Skytear game. Do you leave the enemy hero on the field, or do you kill them? My personal preference is kill them and then figure out what advantage you can snowball from them being dead. But, of course, there are cases where patience is the correct choice. Kenwee does finish the round, by the way, with a lead from the deck. So, again, looking to maintain control. It could be the case that Red Scare just wants to leave Hobrot till the end of the activation, try to control the dome again, and then kill Hobrot with the Outsider, guaranteeing that he responds in round number 5. We'll wait and see what happens. All right, Eric is going to activate Kamaya. Show me Void Palace. Attack the minion. This makes sense. Get rid of the minion first. Use the attack action there. Is going to go for the move action. All right. Yes. Yes. And a lead action. All right. So if you're leading with Kamaya, not going to cast into the Void Palace, which is a shame, because that would have been awesome to watch, but such is life. So again, a lead from the deck, most likely going to be a 3 mana there lead for Eric in lane number 2. And so now back to Red Scare. How does Red Scare opt to respond? Preferably by killing Hobrot, just because I prefer a violent game. Although, by doing that, he would move Hobrot out of lane 1, which possibly does give Miyuki the ability to push back against the tower. Well, I guess you could move, kill Hobrot, and then skirmish back into range of the control hex. That would be a possibility. Let's see. What else can we do here? Well, we are activating Hobrot. Oh, wait a minute. What he could do is play Blades of Lightning, attack Miyuki, and hit Hobrot with a 4+ all at the same time. That is a possibility. That would be super cool. Do you have Blades of Lightning, sir? If you do, this is the point where you drop it. I'm guessing he doesn't have it. That is a shame. Oh, that would have been so cool to watch. Oh, well. So we are going to see a move action here. interesting to see where this move action goes. Red Scare giving a thought about this. Going to move into the dome. All right, so we are going to move in. We're going to attack Hobbarot. We're going to kill Hobbarot. Praise the attack. 4++ on the attack. I guess technically 5++ as it is adjacent to his illusion. Aha! And we see the Time Warp come out. So, Time Warp allows us to essentially dodge. Hobbarot will use Time Warp, move 1 hex, and Yellow Hobbarot's attempted assassination fizzles. This is why Blades of Lightning would have been a lot cooler, although I guess Time Warp still would have let you dodge out of the range, but, you know, it is what it is. All right, so we're going to skirmish back in there. Red Scare going to flip for the skirmish damage, 1 damage there. If there's a Nightmares Incarnate in hand, this would be a good time to have a Cootie bolt him down. Guessing that there isn't, though, because Hobbarot still stands. That's tragedy and unfortunate. Oh! Redirect is coming out? What are we redirecting here? Was there something on the stack that I didn't see before it cleared? Looks like we had a brief pause here. Not sure what exactly we wanted to redirect there. Looks like the players are just having a brief discussion over what just happened, perhaps. Potentially a rules question. See if we have anything in the Discord. Nope. All right, well, looks like we're back to play. All right, so Blue Hobbarot is going to activate, attacks and kills the minion. Makes perfect sense. Ah, there's Enter the Void. Son of a gun. That's tragic. And is then going to use the illusion ability of Hobbarot to slide himself back into the dome. Kenwee has led from the deck, so therefore I assume that Eric will respond in kind, as that is a lead action, and then will end the turn with a worship. So repositioning that control token next to Kenwee. Setting up for a potential Blades of Lightning of his own in turn number 4. All right, so final activation for Red Scare this round is Astrida. If he has a presence card, this would be a good time to use it. He is packing 3, so would be very useful and beneficial to see that come out for him in order to kind of stop Eric's tide. But we'll see what happens in the end. I think the opening moves here, most likely, again, a worship action, an attack action, and a lead action is the most preferable course here for Astrida. You know she's not going to get sucked into the Void Palace here, as we just saw Enter the Void Palace flip on Eric's last turn. Is going to do a move action, though. So with the move action, that means that she's either going to surrender the ability to lead or the ability to worship. Kill off a minion in worship. So we'll see what happens here. Is she going to go into the dome? Are we just going to say, forget lane 2, I'm going to let it die, and Red Scare is going to funnel all of his people into the dome? I feel like if that's the case, you would shapeshift, attack, and then move. Or attack, move, lead once you're in the dome. I don't see where moving first is a good plan. Again, of course, I could be missing something. Different things happen in the player's mind than in the caster's mind, and I don't have information to what cards are in hand. There are 4 cards in hand, so might be positioning for something there. Um, Not sure exactly what his objective is with the first move action. We'll wait and find out. Let's see. Do we have any other community events we can plug while he's thinking? We talked about tomorrow's game. Make sure to tune in for the Clash. So this month's Clash is featuring last Clash we had Mono Faction. This month we have the Mono Color. So heroes can be of different factions, but all power cards, the ultimates notwithstanding, must be the same color. Very exciting, I think, to see how many people are going to play green, how many are going to play blue, and how many are going to not play yellow. I assume we're going to see a lot of the popular heroes, fan favorites, of course. I suspect a lot of green and a lot of blue, just because, there's a rifling debate on the power of cards. Obviously green gets Sinkhole, Rampant Hatred, arguably the two best cards in the game, but they also have things Hunting for Power, actually not Hunting for Power, goodness, on Burial Rites, which can be used to snowball control leads, or just provoke a lot of fuel for an Antaka Frenzy Assault, which would be awesome to watch on stream as well. Or do we go to the Blue League? We've got Sudden Distraction to eliminate leads. Do we bring out the presences to, overwhelm our control values? All of these things I think will be interesting to see. I'm pretty sure we're not going to see any yellow because making a mono yellow deck I think would be very challenging. So that's my prediction. We'll see how right or wrong I am. Very oftentimes I make these predictions and it's a 50-50 split of am I dead right or am I dead wrong? So, all right, so Estrita has decided to move. Interesting position. I'm not sure what we're going to do here, but okay. So we're going to attack a minion. Dead minion, of course. Now, not shapeshifted, so the final action I assume here has to be a lead. I don't know if that's... certainly that would be enough, I think, to save the lane from the tower exploding. I'm pretty sure Eric will win with a small advantage, so a little bit of tower chip damage. But ultimately, the tower, I think, should still be intact for round number 4 if Estrita goes for the lead action. I see the hands moving around, so looks like we're possibly doing some movements, some calculations here. Possible reinterpretation of where we wanted to position. With that position, though, Estrita is capable of casting a Soul Scream, which I believe he does have. Yep, Soul Scream is within Red Scare's deck, so we might see a Soul Scream come out. But here comes the None Shall Enter. All right, so Shadris' ultimate. Place each hero and minion hit on the hex outside the AoE closest to their current hex, and then hexes block the movement and line of sight. So we're going to see exactly what's about to happen here for the positioning. My guess is that Estrita is about to get bonked upwards a little bit. And then we'll see the end position after movement. So we did see None Shall Enter on the other game. It was very exciting, actually, to see that one used there. But Astrita's going to respond with a shove. All right, so Astrita is not going to be the only person that's going to start pushing people around. This is going to push the target adjacent hero 1 hex. So very clearly, this is going to be Shadris getting pushed aside. Shadris will get pushed back. Of course, then None Shall Enter will resolve, but the AoE will be, not as effective here due to the fact that it does center on Shadris. And so therefore, do you want to put it there? I think you want to put it back right there. Yeah, because that way None Shall Enter doesn't affect you as Astrita. All right, so we now have the shove resolved. And now we drop down the AoE. So, courtesy of the fancy decals here, there we go. So, what we're going to do now is bar the cover hex from, or bar the, oh no, okay, we're shifting here. Okay, there we go. So we're going to knock Astrita over to that hex. Okay. She's still within 3 though. And Kumaya has already activated. So we can't smokescreen Astrita out of the control zone. I'm not sure what the plan is here. Eric doesn't have any way to get Astrita marked so that Shadris would exhaust next to her and shove her. Oh. No, because that's going to go away by the end of the turn. All right. I will be honest. I'm kind of stymied on giving you guys a plausible explanation for this. I think I'm going to ask Eric about it because I don't really see what this is doing. Of course, I know that both Giacomo and Tape are watching this, so if you guys have any insights as to what benefits we're getting out of this here, please let me know, because I'm drawing a blank here. As I mentioned, there are no mark of Decree of Karumos in Eric's deck, so it's not like we can drop a quick mark on, well, Habarat's out of, or Shadris is out of mana anyways, Kamaya's out of range. So I'm not really sure what the point of this was. Oh well. Alright, well, wouldn't be the first time I had no idea what's going on with this. So, that's going to end. Astrita is going to have a lead from the deck to finish off her turn. And now Shadris activates. So Shadris is going to attack. We're going to Sucker Punch a minion. Dead minion. Feels bad man there on the minion. That's a tower HP point. Is that supposed to... Was that supposed to go back last round and we just never counted it? I don't know what happened there. Now, with this setup, there is going to be some tower damage here. Astrita can provide at max 4. Eric can have a maximum of 8, which means, if Eric puts... Nope, all right. Shadris out, yo. We're going into the dome. We are contesting the dome. All right. Kenwee did lead from the deck, but Habarat is still alive. and is going to remain that way because this is a situation here where I'm pretty sure Eric wins the dome. All right. Actually, no, it's guaranteed because Yellow Hobrat didn't lead. All right, so Astrida is going to play Nourish on herself, bringing her up to 15 HP. Sure, why not? Cool beans, cool beans. Does Red Scare have a Nightmare Incarnate? Nope. All right, we're going through the leads. So Akuti leads from the deck with a 2. And Hobrat leads with a... no, that's Miyuki. I'm sorry, that leads with a 3. Oh, wait, that's Kenway in the middle. Good God. Kenway's model looks exactly like Hobrat's model whenever they're both like this. Goodness. Okay. Well, in any case, tie in the lane number 1 there, as they both had 4. Miyuki had a 3. Akuti had a 2. So we have a push there. Astrida led with a 3 from the deck. I missed what Kumaya was leading with, but we'll be able to figure that out as soon as we watch how many points of the tower damage takes. All of them. That is a destroyed tower. Cool. Nexus is open for Eric now. And the control hex is going to fly right up against it. So Eric now has Nexus Breach for the victory condition that is possible. Good luck. I don't know why I said good luck. I was going to make a comment about Ricardo thinking that that was a good play. Maybe I was thinking that Ricardo wishes him good luck on a Nexus Destruction. I have no idea where that was going. So, significant pressure now in lane number 2 for Eric, as we do see the Tactician scoreboard tied up at 3-3. Shadris Hobrat leads from a 3. Kenway led with a 2. Guess what? That means that Eric gets control of the outsider. And in this situation, if I'm Eric, I use the outsider to drag Astrida away, slow her, and then I just win the game, I think. I'm pretty sure Eric can just form the Great Wall of Heroes, and there's nothing Red Scare can do. Because there's minions everywhere. If Kumaya and Shadris block off access to the control zone, I think that Eric just blows up the Nexus at the end of the 4th turn. We'll see what happens. Doing a little bit of calculations here, looks like. Just taking some time to, of course, do the math here, I think, about something. Possibly double-checking the... capability. Okay, interesting. I don't agree with this play here. From Eric, I think it would have been much more beneficial if you just, like, dealt with Astrida, because she's really the one that can oppose this plan. But whatever. So, we are going to see outsider ability number 1. That is the wormhole ability. So we're going to watch 2 people get swapped. Their positions are going to be swapped here. So we are going to... Oh, no, I'm sorry. Ability number 1 is the Stone Storm. No, ability number 3 is the Stone Storm. What am I talking about? So we did do the Stone Storm there. In that case, outsider skill is the Wormhole. I thought I wasn't going completely insane. Outsider skill number 3, that would be the Stone Storm. Okay, so we use the Stone Storm first, then the Wormhole. That makes sense. All right, very good. So we're going to Wormhole. Okay. Interesting play. And then we're going to use the Predict to see what we're going to get. All right, interesting use. Probably not what I would have done. Particularly since he could have Stone Stormed Hobrat and Kenway. Oh, he did Stone Storm Hobrat and Kenway. Never mind, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Okay. Well, interesting. All right, that's fair. Okay. So here's the thing. You don't need to corner Astrida because the closest she can get to the control zone is 3 hexes, which means all that needs to happen is Astrida tries to move in, Kumaya gets the Shadris token moved within line of sight of her, and then boom, Astrida is null and void. Okay, never mind. I will take this back. What Eric did was much better of the play. I didn't consider that. So, actually a really good play there on that part on Eric. Thinking ahead. If he thought ahead. I'm going to assume he is because Eric is a very smart person, so I'm going to give him credit for that. And assume that he did come up with that line of reasoning for why he used the outsider on the right side of the board. All right, we are in round number 4, however, so things are going to get even more spicy here, more mana available. Let's see what happens. So, Red Scare, I would say in a precarious position now. Not able to destroy the lane 1 tower means that Eric is now at a significant advantage. Particularly, again, 2 of his heroes are slowed. Akuti is not going to be able to influence control zone number 2. And so this is going to get dicey. Actually, you know what? I think Red Scare actually just loses this. Barring Astrida coming up with something big, like a very well-placed Soul Scream, or, yeah, no, even Soul Scream can't really do too much here. Yikes. Yeah. I don't know what you do. I guess Kenwi's Echo Dance might be able to use to teleport her? But again, then that runs the same problem with the smoke screen. This is going to be interesting. All right, I think Eric is in a very good position, but let's see what Red Scare can do to answer this. First, we're going to go ahead and skirmish with Hobrat. To be fair, one thing you can do is kill off Hobrat. That is going to be 3 on the flip, which means you are going to need to commit the attack action or maybe not, because apparently Hobrat had 3 HP from something that I missed. Okay, never mind. Ignore me. And so Blue Hobrat is going to come back next turn. So this does help, but it doesn't stop the underlying issue that Eric is going to be able to form the Great Wall of Stormseer. There are 6 minions. Kumaya, Shadris are going to be able to lead. Kumaya is going to be able to smoke screen anyone that tries to get within 3. Boy. This is problematic. Astrida will be able to move and, I guess, attack, but that's not enough. Yeah, presence might be useful here, but oh yeah, if you smoke screen her, presence isn't going to matter. Well, we'll see what happens. All right, so Hobrat is going to attack the outsider. I am all for killing the outsider here. He might realize... nope, that's Kenwi, isn't it? Yeah, that's Kenwi attacking, for God's sake. Eventually, I'll get right which hero is Kenwi and which one is Hobrat. So Kenwi does deal 2 damage to the outsider. Of course, it would help if I looked at the screen with the giant blazing blue circle around the Kenwi icon to figure out who was activating. If only we had something like that might prevent me from making these kinds of misassociations. Maybe we'll see it in a future TTS update. All right, so Kenwi has skirmished and attacked. Possibly we might see a Soul Scream come out from Kenwi. She does have 4 mana. Again, the Echo Dance... Okay, there's the Soul Scream. Okay, so right, I think Red Scare does realize the only way he's going to win this is killing the outsider. Eric is going to win by the end of the round with Nexus Destruction. Therefore, it's time to start focusing down the outsider. And given that the only hero that Eric has in the dome right now is Shadris, the outsider can get targeted pretty quickly there. So we do see +2 on the flip from Soul Scream, brings that down to 10 hit points for... +3 on the flip there brings that down to 10 hit points for the Silent Ambassador. So, if there's a Blade of Lightning in Red Scare's hand, Yellow Hobrat might be able to march in there and kill it. Yeah, with Blue Hobberot being off the field, actually, Eric does need to be wary. In this situation, I think I activate Miyuki and mark Hobberot so that Miyuki can provide that attack reduction and prevent the Silent Ambassador from dying. Because with good flips, a Hobberot ulted Silent Ambassador is dead. Hobberot can skirmish against the Silent Ambassador, worship to move the token, play Blades of Lightning, attack, shing, 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 slashing all over the place, crashing of steel, boom, we have a dead ambassador. Which I'm pretty sure is against the Geneva Convention to kill ambassadors. Anyways, alright, Shadris is going to show up. Go for the worship action. Right, move that within line sight of... okay. That's still not going to help you because you can move the illusion token over there to the other hex. I mean, you can still worship and move the illusion token to the other empty hexes as a possibility. Although I guess Shadris would be able to counter with a... No, he would not. Huh. Alright, there goes that plan. Alright, well... Okay, we're going all in on this play. We're bringing Estrida into the dome. For Red Scare, and I agree with this. Forget the lane, that's lost. You need to kill the outsider. So, we see a skirmish attack. Or a skirmish action against the outsider. I don't know about this. Not sure if I would have used a street. Well, I guess with that, yeah, never mind. Actually, yeah, using a street to chip damage is better because that lessens the ability for Eric to steal. So we are going to see an attack action against the outsider. And Eric is going to play redirect. All right, so we know what redirect does by this point. It allows us to change the attack target to another valid target, so it is a +1 on the flip. And now this actually makes sense for why he brought the Shadris token. Gives another valid target for some redirects. Shadris will take 1 damage, which, you know, nowhere near the amount of damage that Red Scare was hoping to get out of that. But such is life. Let's see what happens. That is going to be the end of Estrida's turn. Move, skirmish, attack. All right, let's go ahead and see now what does Eric do. I think in this case now you activate Miyuki because really all you have to do is just keep... Actually, you don't even need Kumaya there at this point. You just auto-win lane number 1. All right, well, Miyuki is going to go ahead for the move action. She likes the way you move. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Go for the skirmish. Okay, so we're building in the wall of Pisa here. And then Hobberot is going to play Time Warp. All right, so this means that Hobberot is not going to ult, as he's going to go ahead and move there. But does still have 2 mana for a Nightmares Incarnate. Okay, that's Eric's flip. Okay, so there's the Blades of Lightning from Eric. So yellow Hobberot is going to take 3 damage there from the skirmish flip, and then Miyuki is going to worship, which guarantees that Hobberot will do 3 damage. All right, very good job on Eric shutting that down. Now I think Red Scare is out of options. Could have done an Unstoppable, could have done a Blade of Lightning, potentially to kill the outsider. Both of those are now no longer viable options, as the Miyuki mark will mean that you do 3 damage on the flip, which is 2 after the armor, and the fact that you use the Time Warp tonic means that's the wrong game. You use Time Warp, which means that you only have 2 mana left. I don't see what Red Scare can do now. Yeah, this is trying to think quickly. Well, let's find out. So Akuti is going to move. 1, 2, 3. Perhaps Akuti goes into the dome. Chip damage. Nothing there. Attack action, I assume. Okay. And Shay just comes out with another redirect. Yep. Eric is just going to sit there and redirect all of the attacks against the Outsider to the Shadris with 2 armor. Not going to be bothered as much by the Specialist. It's going to bounce right off of the doors. And, yeah. Even with an extra hero activation here, I'm not sure that Red Scare has the resources to prevent the breach. Or I guess technically the explosion of the Nexus at this point. We've already breached the left lane. Although Akuti does play Presence. Okay. Sure. Predict 2 cards. Let me think here. Red Scare. Does he he doesn't have Charm, so he can't remove the condition. Yeah. I don't know what Red Scare is going to be able to do here. All right. Eric is going to activate his final hero, Kumaya, for the round. We'll see what she does. Again, she could honestly just sit in the lane and guarantee the victory. Habrat is not going to be able to get in range to influence Control Zone 1, so honestly, if I'm Eric, I would just lead Worship for the heck of it. And then end your turn. Because I don't think Habrat can do anything. 1, 2, 3, 4. No. No. Yeah. Yeah. I don't see any way that Habrat can get over there, even with a time warp. Yeah. If you just park Kumaya on the perimeter of the dome, diagonally down left from that one minion there, Habrat has no chance to get to the control zone. I think the game is over. There's the lead from the deck. Goes for the worship action. Sure, why not? Put the mark on Estrida. Can't hit anybody with the sensor swing. Kelastima. And then move. There it is. Deciding not to move at all again, perfectly acceptable choice. And even though, again, even if Habrat gets over there, it's, you know, it's not likely to work out for anything that you can do. Although, I guess, to be fair, nope, he has 2 mana. Can't do a Soul Scream there. Ugh. Going for the worship action. 1, 2, 3. Goes for the attack action, so this will do 4 damage. And Miyuki plays redirect. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Alright, well, that's... Alright, that's fair. So Miyuki will redirect the attack, I assume, onto Shadris. Or the illusion token. Doesn't really make too much of a difference. In this situation here. Something on the chat. I can't see it because I'm alt-tabbed out. Let me see what that says real fast. Give me a second. And Eric is calling good game. All right, bye, Nexus victory. Excellent. GG, well played. Let's go ahead and talk with the players real fast after a very interesting control game.
to win this push anyway. And if I, like, in case I won the dome, I would have had 4 tactician. Like in the last round, I couldn't win by a nexus skill. I couldn't win by tactician.
Right. So you had to go for honeycomb power, which felt bad.
Yeah. I mean, I knew you were probably gonna have answers, but yeah, I just needed to try something because there was really no other way to win. I mean, I wasn't going to get onslaught, so.
Yeah, and I mean, when you skirmished, I should have just dropped Mayuki's ult on Habrat because this was going to be the last round of the game. But I was like, you'll flip 1 or 2, then you'll waste an attack action. It'll be great, right? And then you flip the 3, and it was like, oh, that was foolish. Now this card's worthless.
Yeah.
So RG, he started early on, and he got the crazy flips from the Silent Ambassador to hit ult on Habrat, and Mayuki, he's like, this damage isn't going to do anything, and I kind of agree. I was like, probably not. And then he ends up killing Habrat.
I did see that,
it did all matter.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a good game, though. That was very interesting to watch. Like, it was really tight for the first couple rounds, and then that tower destruction for Eric turn 3 was like, oh, okay, now he's got a huge lead.
Yeah, I mean, so round 2, I flipped the 2s on leads off the top, and he flipped the 3s, and so that was him getting ahead on Tactician, and then round 3, I flipped all the 3s, and he flipped the 2s, and that was pretty unlucky, but, I mean, that's what these decks do. Yep.
I think, like, I was so self-conscious when we were thinking the whole time in lane number 2 with the shady ability.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I declare a move. Okay, then we think for 3 minutes, and then I'm gonna shove. Okay, let me think. Okay, hold your results. Okay, let me think. Yeah, I don't know.
Shade result is mind melting. I haven't wrapped my head around it all the way. I mean, so I was telling him though, if he had what I was hoping he would do with Estrida when she was over here, is if he just tries to do the basic worship and then attack one of these guys. I shady ult him. Because I put Kamaya here, he has to go 2 away. It would be to here, and then I would move the illusion in here and smoke screen her away, and she would just be totally out of range. So I was like, that would have been great. But his maneuver, and then when he declared the move, I was like, oh crap, is he going to go kill Habrat? I won't have my ult online to save him. And so I was trying to figure out if my ult could somehow keep him from getting to Habrat, and I couldn't figure out a way to do it. So then I let him go, and he went over here, which I think was still better than staying where he was, because he still got to stay in control at least this way, right? So
because I was actually going to ask you about that, because I saw you dropping the AoE down, and I'm like, what are we trying? Am I missing something? What are we trying to do here with this?
Well, so I mean, so at that point, right? If he didn't shove me, I get to put him over to here, and I at least save the minion.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So
That
it's just
makes
one
sense.
minion at that point. But still, I saw diminishing returns happening. Like, I felt I needed to get through this thing quickly, so one minion might be the difference. And so that's why I was doing it at that point.
Gotcha.
And so
also, when you dropped the AoE, you could have just put me right there, I think, and then I would have.
If you don't shove, that's right. Either one of these ones is outside of control. Oh, that one's not out of control. Yeah, this one's out of control, though. So this one's out of control, and then he can either move in, but then he can't move in and lead. So his shove basically let him lead also. But then he flipped a 2 and I flipped a 3, so I just barely beat him on the tower anyway.
Gotcha.
So,
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was fun. I almost made a really aggressive build with these heroes because I just assumed you were going to drop a bunch of 3s in your deck and try to win my control. So I almost I made an aggro list with just some kind of pseudo flip deck, but I mean, I can't worship and flip, but I thought it was too risky because you still have Shadras and you have one Mayuki ult could really ruin my game.
Ruin your whole thing, yep.
Yeah.
So what's funny is I looked at the list and I was like, your control list is better than mine and you have access to blue and I have access to red, so that's going to be tough. So I almost made a aggressive list too, and then I looked at it, I was like, same thing, but I was like, but Kenwi's over there and you get your extra armor and from Akuti, and I'm like, I don't know that I can do it well enough to actually pull it off. So I was just like, I'm gonna go with what I know. So
to be honest, that was the my reasoning as well. Like I mean I don't have to like start trying and beat people by aggroing them because I just suck at it. So
But my one counter to his presence was that I brought my dismisses, which I think is generally a bad card, but I was like, I know he's got presence.
Uh-huh.
So that's my only way to win in the dome. And so I had him. And then on first round, I put Hobrod on the edge. And
Yep.
I don't know if you noticed, he made the play where he basically moved
Yes.
presence and then came right back. That's all she did.
Yep.
And that was all to keep a dismiss off. And I had dismiss in my hand. So, I mean, I should have been further in the middle, but that was a brilliant play by Red Scare there to get his presence off because otherwise he doesn't get it off.
Right.
Although I guess you can do the same thing if I'm in the middle. You just go out of the dome and then skirmish all the way back in the dome, huh?
Right. Yeah, you could do the same thing,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's still a really well played game, though, gentlemen. Very nicely done.
thanks. So I'm gonna go and grab a beer. I think.
Sounds like a plan to me too, man. I've been waiting for that this whole day.
Okay, cheers to you then.
Thank you. Talk to you later, Red Scare.
Take care.
Thank you,
Yes.
RG.
Of course. Any final thoughts?
Nope. No Hero Left Behind was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to play only these. I mean, getting these heroes were challenging and interesting, and I had to play some red heroes, and I enjoyed it overall, and we'll probably do something like it again.
Nice.
But I mean, I like this restrictive deck building and what it breeds in creativity and opens up new things. And all of a sudden, I'm playing Dismiss as one of my key cards, right? And so that's interesting to me.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, because especially towards the end, when you can tech against all the heroes you might run into.
Yep.
I really like this format more than just like a regular format, to be honest. Yeah, I hope we can do it again.
I mean, it's a lot more investment, right? Because you have to build a deck a week and stuff, and you have to keep track of it, and so I mean, there is an overhead associated with it, so it's not as easy and stuff. But yes, I agree.
Yeah,
and
that's the whole fun. Like I don't know. Like I think I built more decks than I played games. I just really like coming up with a stupid plan and then abandoning it again, and then just.
Amen, man. I know how that feels. Come up with a plan and ditch it 20 seconds later.
Okay. Hey, see you guys around. Thanks.
Yep. Take
Bye.
care.
Bye-bye.
All right, well, on behalf of Eric and Red Scare, thank you very much for joining us, everyone. And remember, again, tomorrow at 12 p.m., we will be kicking off the King of the Dome series as Ricardo tries to fend off the first challenger to his crown, Bearcat. We'll see you guys then. Have a good evening. Oh,
No. 8 days. 8 days.
oh, it's not tomorrow.
We're doing it on 21st.
I was lied to. No! Okay,
I'm sorry.
scratch that.
So,
Nothing to look
So
forward
we
to
have-
tomorrow.
World qualifiers in Saturday in 7 days, and then the first Skytear Sunday will be in 8 days.
Oh, okay, so we stealth changed it. Oh, you're adapting to PvP already. Very nice. All right. All right, well, in that case then, ladies and gentlemen, we'll try to find a game that we can perhaps cast for Clash during the week, bring you some more content. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you guys next weekend. Have a good day.